Sweat dripped down your neck as you ran, adrenaline speeding through your veins. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, what? One moment, you had been finishing up the final draft for your article for that week's edition of the school newspaper, and the next moment, an arm had grabbed your shoulder. Although, when you turned around, the sight you were expecting was not the one you were greeted with. Do you know my famous article? You stared in shock at the massive darkness that had unrecognizable face. What? And immediately bolted out of the classroom. At this point, you had run all the way from the middle school building into the high school building, looking for somebody who's around who could help you. But for some reason, the hallways were barren. Oh my gosh, why? Oh my god. Speeding past classrooms, you didn't even bother looking behind you at this point. You were too scared to even look. You weren't familiar with the high school building, so you had no idea where you were. Although, you just kept turning and hoped that somebody would turn up. Although, the possibility that would even happen was becoming slimmer and slimmer. I'm going to die, oh my god, what the fuck? You slammed your face into the floor, a sudden pain hitting your face. What is this? Some sort of cliché fan fiction? You immediately stumbled into the closest classroom and grabbed the nearest chair and desk, trying to use them to barricade the door, though it was no use. The shadow entered the room, knocking the door down, as well as throwing the chair and desk aside. Do you know my famous article? No, what the fuck are you talking about? Stop fucking around with me, you screamed, throwing random chairs at it. It was getting closer now, swallowing up the chairs you threw at it. And slowly you backed away, trying to find more things to throw. Do you know my famous article? A face started forming in the middle of the shadow, and as you looked closer, you realized. Who are you? Do you have the wrong person? You screamed in anger. Who the hell did this thing think it was? There was no way you were just going to let yourself be pushed around by some random shadow. You looked behind yourself and realized that the wall was going to be nearing soon, so you ran over to the nearby balcony and shoved open the sliding door, running out to try and figure out some sort of plan. Do you know my famous article? I fucking don't. If I did, I would have answered by now, so fuck off. It got closer and was about to reach out with a shadowy hand to try and grab you. It grabbed your arm and held an extremely tight grip and started pulling you toward it. Although you managed to kick it off, the claws it had grown on its hand dug into your arm, creating 3 deep gashes. Biting your lip, you resisted a groan and stumbled back. Oh my god. Isn't Ko some sort of exorcist who deals with this shit? Damn it all to hell. Fucking help. If there was any sort of time for Ko to show up, it would probably be right now. Even Taro-senpai would do. Man, I wish there was some cheesy fanfiction where I have some sort of special best friend telepathy thing. Closer and closer it came, and you kept back until you reached the fencing of the balcony, looking behind you and looking at the distance to the ground. You gulped and sweat dropped. I guess I have no choice. You quickly climbed over the fence as the shadow kept inching toward you, holding on with one hand. Do you know my famous article? You braced yourself, but just as you were about to let go, see the light, evil spirit. You heard a familiar voice yell, and the shadow vanished in a flash of lightning. What the actual shit? Your grip started slipping from the bars from your sweaty hands, and you started panicking. Why, Inchan? You looked up, and it finally clicked whose voice it was. Ko-kun. And in this moment of shock was when your hand finally slipped. You closed your eyes, expecting to feel a rush of wind go past your face, but instead you felt a hand gripping yours tightly. Hurry up and climb, you heard him say. He had grabbed your hand right before you fell, so using your other hand you grabbed onto the bar, pulling yourself up, with the help of Ko, and over the bars of the balcony. Now your arm strength isn't the very best, since you don't really like to participate in athletic activities, so you were having a bit of a struggle to push yourself up the last distance. Although luckily, Ko pulled you up and over the edge, no problem. He pulled you into his chest, his arms immediately wrapping around your waist. Oh my god, Wayne-chan, are you okay? I'm sorry I wasn't here sooner. I wasn't sure if it was actually something wrong or somebody pulling a prank. He pushed you away, holding you by the shoulders and inspecting your body for any damage. Your cheeks were bright red from the close contact you'd had with him, although he didn't really seem to notice this. Yeah, I'm fine. His eyes wandered down and noticed your arm, which was now slightly dripping with blood. Oh my god, Wayne-chan, your arm, why didn't you tell me? Oh. Now that he had mentioned it, you could suddenly feel the massive throbbing in your arm, and you winced. Before you knew it, he was gently dragging you to the nurse's office, muttering to himself about something, although you couldn't hear what. By the time the two of you arrived, your arm was hurting a lot more than before, especially since the adrenaline had faded. Ko knocked on the door, and when there was no answer, he opened it to see that there was nobody. I guess the nurse went home for the day. You mumbled. Ko was still holding your other hand, his fingers laced together with yours, making your face a bright red and your heart beat wildly. Jeez, what a drag. I'm supposed to always be the loud but shy friend, not this. Ko walked in and made you sit down on one of the beds while he grabbed a couple of things from around the room. After a minute or two, he had pulled up a chair in front of you and was gently holding your arm, wiping the blood off with a damp washcloth. A comfortable silence enveloped the room, although the blush on your face remained, and the beating of your heart stayed erratic. Sorry for the trouble, you mumbled, using your good arm to move your hair to somewhat cover your cheek. You mumbled, using your arm to move your hair to somewhat cover your eyes, so Ko couldn't see. It isn't any trouble, Wayne. That's what best friends are for. He had moved to the side and caught your eye in the last part. Yeah, friend. What's wrong with me? Ugh, pull it together, Wayne. Ko moved on to putting ointment on the gashes and putting some bandages on, and you lowered your head, trying to avoid eye contact altogether. Ba-dump, 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 ba-dump. He tied off the bandage, and you immediately went to get up and get out. Hey, not so fast. He grabbed your shoulder, gently turning you around so you were facing him. Oh my god, I can't look at him. What the fuck? You looked to the side, letting your hair fall on your face so that you couldn't look at him. He's your best friend, Wayne. Come on. Tell me what happened, Wayne. I really need to get home. I'm sorry, Ko, but thank you. You quickly tried to dart toward the exit, trying to be as quick as possible. Wayne, please. I'm just worried about you. He had grabbed your hand, pulling you toward him again. I can't do this. Your eyes watered up and tears started flowing down your face. Now or never, I guess. I really like you. I love you. You heard his breath hitch, and you pulled your hand back. A silence ensued, and after a moment, you resisted letting out a sob and smiled bitterly to yourself. Bye. You whispered, about to leave. Before you could turn around, his hand wrapped around your waist, pulling you closer. You turned your head to the side, ready for the final hug of your friendship. Wayne, look at me, please. You refused. Looking at him in the eyes would only cause your heart to break even more. Suddenly, his hand was at your chin, gently pulling your head to face him. He brushed your hair from your face, tucking it behind your ear. His hand then went to your cheek and wiped away the tears that had been falling from your eyes moments before. Now you could finally see his face. You could see that his face was covered in a deep blush. But when you looked at his eyes, they held a whole other story. He looked to the side before clearing his throat and looked at you again. I like you. Wait, no, I love you too. Before you could answer, he slowly leaned in, looking into your eyes for permission. You grabbed the collar of his shirt, pulling his face down the short distance to yours, and your lips collided. Your hands move to the back of his neck, pulling him closer, while his hands move down to your waist. After a minute or two, the two of you separated, slightly out of breath. Ko pulled your head to his chest, resting his chin on your head. I love you.